we'll be navigating to n8n interface. I will make it simple for you. So if I go here, n8n.syncbricks.com, this is of course the self-hosted n8n. And I will also log into n8n cloud version. So here I'll be signing in. Now this is the cloud version of it. This is self-hosted and this is cloud version. Let me show you side by side. So what is the difference here? You will see here the admin panel. Here you are not having any admin panel. Here on the cloud version, you will see different projects that you can have. You can create multiple projects here, but you won't be able to create multiple projects here. Plus, if you want to update here, you can see this is a self-hosted version. If you click on updates, so these are new versions which are available, and these are also new versions available here. Here you can update by just single click. You will just simply go to admin panel and you will update here. But here you have to update by yourself because this is self-hosted version. In this course, I'll be using simultaneously the cloud version also, and I will be using the self-hosted version also. So let me first of all give you an overview of the n8n workflow. So here is the n8n user interface, and if you see here on left side, you can have a detailed with the text, or you can have icon only by clicking this here. This is the dashboard here. You will see the workflows where you will see credentials. Credentials means that you will be connecting to various external applications. For example, if you have the Gmail credentials, so that Gmail credential will appear here. And then is the execution. So whatever workflows you have created, those workflows will be executed and you will see the result of that, how many times the workflow has executed and whether the workflow was successful or not, and so on. On overview, you will see the dashboard. It will show you workflow, credentials, and executions. And on top right, you can see from here, you can create the workflow or create the credential. Of course, if you are using cloud version, you will have the admin panel also here. And down here, you will see your account detail. Now, for example, if I click this, you can have settings and you can sign out from here. You will enter the user ID and password again, and then you can go into settings. So there are various settings that I will be talking about. First of all, it is the user and plan. The moment you install it, you can get the free license which will be available to you, and it will give you unlimited workflow. Right now, you can see here, it is showing me unlimited workflow, but alternatively, if I go to the cloud version, in cloud account usage and plan, this particular option is not available. But if you go to n8n.syncbricks.com, where you will see the pricing, 20 euros per month, you will get 2,500 workflow executions and 5 active workflows. But in the self-hosted plan, you have unlimited workflows and unlimited executions. And these features are free forever. Of course, you won't pay anything here. The moment you install it for the first time, you have to enter the activation license. And the moment you do the initial configuration for the first time, it will send you the activation license. You have to do the activation using that license. And then here you will see personal information. Of course, you can update your user ID, user details, and so on. Same is available on cloud also. And on cloud version, you can create multiple users here and you can send them the invite so they will be able to interact here. But on the local self-hosted version, only one user is available. If it is single user deployment, then it is fine. But if you want to have multiple users, then you have to go with the enterprise license. Then is n8n API. You can create the n8n API in both the versions. And then external secrets in the cloud version. If you are using personal plan, of course, it is not available. So you have to go with the enterprise plan for that. Single sign-on, again, that is also available in the enterprise plan. LDAP is also lightweight directory access protocol. This is available in enterprise plan. Then is log streaming. Log streaming is also available in the enterprise plan. Then these are community nodes. In fact, in case you want to install the community nodes, which are developed by community, you can install it here, but you cannot install that on the cloud platform because here you have full control over installing additional nodes, but at your own risk. You can click here and you can add the npm package name and install. So it will automatically install it. You can browse through all the community nodes here by clicking here. You will see who has developed what. For example, if you are looking for any translation node, now for example, these days MCP is extremely popular. So n8n node MCP, you have to first of all go and read about it, what it will do, how it will work, and so on. So understand it first before you deploy it. But I will be covering some of the community nodes in this particular course. So don't rush, don't start doing it until you understand it fully. So on left pan, we have covered all of these aspects. Of course, I have talked about updates. So these are new updates which are available. We can update the local version also. The cloud version, I have already updated. If you This is the latest version which is available right now. On the cloud version, it doesn't give any notification here that the new version is available. But here on the local or self-hosted, I still get the notification that updates are available. The process of updating I have already explained you. In help, you can of course look for the forum documentation, you can look for the courses, and you can click on about, and you will get to know that how the n8n is installed. And its source code is fully available here. If you are a developer, if you want to understand the complete source code, so complete documentation is available here. github.com n8n.io/n8n. You will get to know all about that. Of course, the website is n8n.io. I have covered a lot in this book, which is the base for this course. This is available on Amazon also. I have provided the link of that, lms.syncbricks.com, and books by Amjid. You will see here the n8n. It is available on Kindle also. All these lectures are properly structured in a way that it makes your learning experience easy. It's optional for you. Go through this course and you will understand each and every aspect of it. So we have covered all these aspects here. So I will be just hiding it. And here you will see workflows, credentials, and executions. So first of all, you have to understand the workflow where you will build your automation. So you can see here, welcome Amjid, create your first workflow. If I click on create from scratch, so it will open a canvas here. In this canvas, now I can start creating the workflow. And if you click here on top plus sign here, it will show you all the possible triggers and actions. You will see here triggers nodes are there, and on app event is also there. First is what are the triggers in the work. So if you have not added any trigger here, so these triggers will be available here. Either you can click on plus here, it will open all the possible triggers with this particular workflow. And if you click here plus, so it will show you again the triggers. So I'll be creating the first trigger here. Maybe it will be a manual trigger here, which means that the moment I click this, so it will execute that. Now you see here, the moment I click, it has that workflow execution was successful, because in this workflow, I have added only one node. So this is called node in fact. So this is the node, which is a trigger node. I can now start adding multiple nodes. I can either click this and click plus. So it will add another node. I will take any node, for example, data transformation node, for example, and I will say date and time, get current date. So it will give me a current date. So if I test this workflow right now, so what it will do, it will get the current date and time. What are these components? In fact, let me first of all make you understand. If I click this, you will see here that this particular section will show you what are the parameters defined, and this is the output of this node. To go back to canvas, you can either click here back to canvas, or to go back to canvas, you can click here, it will take you back. So this is the canvas here. On canvas, you can add multiple nodes here now, and you can drag and move around, press control and mouse, zoom in and zoom out here. And one important thing is the sticky notes. So you can see here, this is the sticky note. I will add the sticky note. So I have added here, this is the starting point of the workflow, and here I can also add the URL, and the moment the URL is clicked, of course, it will open that URL, and this is the guide that I have created. So that guide can be opened here. So this is the first step here, and of course this is sticky. It means that now it can move around, and you can of course change the color of this also. There are these colors which are available, and you can change the color. Then you can copy and paste and move to next node, and this will be get the current date. For example, you can do the documentation of this, get the current date. Of course, I can change the color of this. I will give it, for example, this color here. Now these are two nodes which I have added. In order to save this, if I click on save, it will create the workflow, and workflow name is here on top, which is my workflow. Let me increase the size again here. So this is my workflow. I can name it, for example, tutorial 1. So this is 6th chapter of our book. Of course, you can add more nodes here also, but suppose if I click this, it will execute. You can see here, as many as times you will click, it will execute. If there will be any error, it will give you that error. If I click on execution now, in execution, you will see how many times the workflow was running. And I can click that, and it will show me the details of a workflow that we executed. It had only one node. Second time when the workflow was executed, it had these two nodes. And then we executed these, so it had again two nodes. And recently when we executed, it had the sticky notes also with this. And finally, we executed here. So these are all the executions which have taken place. You can, of course, filter it by the date, by the time, by the keys, by the values, and by whether it is cancel, running, success, waiting. So you can filter it by the state also. For example, if you want to see the executions where errors were there so that you can resolve those errors, you can see there is no workflow with errors. If you can see the cancelled, so if there is any workflow which is executing but you have cancelled that, so you will be able to see that here also. We will be going back to editor here on top. You can see editor, and I can again start executing. Now execution can be done in at two places. If you want to execute it one by one, for example, if I want to execute this, so I will click here on these three dots icon and I can test this step. So only this step will be tested. Now it will not move to next step, but if you test entire workflow, so everything will be tested here. Now one node I will add here, I will just move it here and I will delete this, or I can connect this here by dragging and dropping. You can see here, I can simply click plus and drag and link it with this. And between these two nodes, if I want to add another node, for example, I will add a wait node here. Wait node means that it will not execute immediately. It will wait, for example, 2 seconds. It could be because of various reasons. I will show you that why we are adding that, but this node is for the wait node. Now, if I click the test workflow, it will go here and it will wait for 2 seconds, then it will move next. Now you will see here that the third node which we have added is wait node, and then it is going here. But now, for example, if I want to chat with this workflow now, so in order to do that, I can just delete this particular node. You can see the moment you hover over to node, you can delete the node. The moment you hover over to link, you can delete that link. And the moment you hover over to the sticky notes also, you can delete it from here. I want to delete this first trigger which we added. It was a manual trigger. I will not use that. I will use a chat trigger here so that I can chat and the response back will be current date and time. I will click on the first node again, or I can click plus sign here and it will automatically show what is the first trigger node, because when there is no trigger added, so first thing that n8n canvas will suggest you will to add the workflow trigger. So I will add the workflow trigger here and I will say it chat. If I click on chat, there could be various triggers, but I will be adding trigger here as a chat. You will see with chat, there is this particular icon, trigger icon. So with all the trigger icons, you will see the same. You will see here trigger manually or on app or event. If you click on app and event, you can see here, this is the trigger. Or if I click on Gmail, for example, so you will see here, there is on message received. So this is also Gmail trigger. But I won't be going in detail. I will first of all click on type a chat, which will be chat trigger. Now, what will happen that if I just link this now, I can now chat with this workflow and I will get the response. But what response I will get, for example, if I disconnect this here and if I open chat, I will say hi. So you will see here node is executed successfully, but node is not connected to anything. That's why it did not give me any response. I will connect this here. Let me try to open chat. I will say hi. And what will happen? It will wait for 2 seconds and it will send it to the next node, and next node has responded me back with the current date and time. Whatever I type, how are you? Whatever I type, the response will be always current date and time. You can see here, this is the current date and time. So whatever input will be going there, it will execute the input, but the next node will execute whatever it receives. It will give the output as date and time. Now what I can do, I can add one more node here. I will just delete this and I will bring it here. Before I start adding a new node here, now let me make you understand by double clicking this, what are the components here. Now you will see here is input and here is output, and this is the process. Here is what is being processed based on the input, based on the output. Now you see here, the input is chat input, which is how are you? Action was send a message and session ID is this. So this is predefined here. This particular node has its own information. It has a session ID, it has a node ID, and it has a chat message which I typed here. I typed this chat message, which is how are you? So this becomes a chat input. Action is send message. So what was the action in this? The moment I typed anything, so it sent the message. So let me open the chat and I will again say hello. So hello is the input. And what is the action? Action is send the message. Where the message has to be sent? Message has to be sent to next node now. And what is this next node? Next node is date and time. And what this next node is doing? This next node is taking this input and then giving the output. It is only giving the output. It is not giving any other information. Of course, I can change these parameters also that we will be looking at in next videos. Just understand that this is the input, this is the process, this is output. This is how the automation works. So there is an input from the previous node and there is output for the next node. And this node has the input received from the previous node, and this node has given this output based on this particular function. So date and time node is having a function. This particular node is created or developed within the n8n, and this n8n is generating the response based on this node. All right. So the output here is current date and time. So we talked about creating the first workflow here, and in executions, you can see all these details now, how long it took to execute, for example, 0.18 seconds, 0.22 seconds, and so on. So this is the execution time here. And in editor, you can troubleshoot this if anything goes wrong. So you can see that over here. So let us continue the next video, which will give us better understanding of what the node is all about.